Hello everybody, welcome back to more political chatter. We are doing another 2024 election prediction. This one is between Joe Biden and Sununu. Now, Joe Biden's approval rating is slightly rebounding. I think that people were thinking that it would keep going up and up, but it has slowed down. And really, this doesn't mean much as of right now. The fact of the matter is that Joe Biden is still extremely unpopular. Now, Sununu, on the other hand, is a bit different. First of all, I'll wait for that. But Sununu is the governor of New Hampshire. And New Hampshire, as you know, went to Biden by 9 points, I believe, in 2020. And it also went for Hillary Clinton in 2016. Yet, get this. Sununu has won by a solid margin for years now in the state of New Hampshire. He carries every single county, and he is one of the most popular governors in America. We have to remember that. He is a moderate Republican. I would not call him neoliberal or anything like that, and he's not Trumpian. He never spoke out against Trump, unlike Larry Hogan and Mitt Romney. However, he did say that the presidential election did go to Joe Biden. He did not argue the results of the 2020 presidential election, saying that Trump won. He said that Biden won, get over it. So it's going to be very, Sununu will be very powerful because he will unite the Republican Party, the moderate side and the Trumpian Republican side. He will unite his party, and really with Democrats staying home for Biden, that's all you need. And Sununu is very anticipated to run. We look at this, the New Hampshire Journal posted that Sununu makes Washington Post's top 10 President of the United States list for 2024. Wikipedia lists him as a publicly expressed interest, a very potential candidate to run in 2024. He has publicly expressed interest. Let's see how he does against Joe Biden. So Biden, I do believe, would be able to carry California and Washington solidly. Hawaii, D.C., Maryland, his home state, Delaware, just because it is his home state, New York, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Vermont, all safe. But states like Oregon, New Jersey, Connecticut, Maine's first, I could see becoming a lean margin. I really think that Sununu will do very well in Maine's first district. I think he's going to do very well in Maine, altogether. And, states of Oregon, New Jersey, and Connecticut, they all went likely for Hillary Clinton in 2016, but they switched back to solid for Biden in 2020. But with Sununu just such a powerful candidate, I do think that they would be likely. And I do think that Illinois would be likely. The state that only went to Biden by 17 points, only 2 points away from becoming likely for him in 2020, so will be in 2024. Alright, going to save Sununu states. He's going to do very well in very rural states. Really, mark my words. I think he's going to do very well in rural states. I think he's going to carry Alaska solidly. I really do. Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, maybe South Carolina state's likely because that's not very rural. Then Texas is going to stay. I really see him doing very well in the state of Texas because of his support in the rural areas. Now, Maine second, I definitely see being solid. Trump won it by 8 points. He's going to win it by 16 points. He's going to do 8 points better than Trump here, just because he does have this granite state appeal. It comes right next door from, who has this Northwest appeal. He comes right next door from New Hampshire. He'd be able to win here solidly. And Maine's at-large vote, I do not think it would be too far-fetched to give the Maine's at-large vote to Sununu by a lean margin. I really think that he will be able to win it. Here, and then going to his home state of New Hampshire, I think that this is going to go likely for him. There's always, New Hampshire's a state that votes Democratic more on the presidential level rather than the senatorial level and the gubernatorial level. So I do think that it wouldn't be solid quite yet, but I do think it's going to win by a wide margin here. I don't see why Republicans and Democrats who voted for him won't turn out for him again. So going down to Florida, he just has such an appeal that I don't think Trumpian Republicans would stay home. Really, I really don't think Trumpian Republicans will hold anything against him, because he wasn't so unlike Mitt Romney or Larry Hogan, who had disliked Trump during his presidency, and he made very faint remarks about the 2020 election. He really stayed away from it. Trumpian Republicans won't hold it against him. So that means Ohio stays likely. Iowa stays likely. Georgia flips back to the Republicans, becomes lean. North Carolina becomes lean. Trumpian Republicans in these states will turn out for him. And really, that's all you need. Arizona, I think, would be likely for Chris Sununu. What we have to remember here is that there are more Republicans than Democrats, much more Republicans than Democrats in the state of Arizona. I mean, if you remember, Mitt Romney won here by 9 points, 10 points, maybe even 11, which is absolutely insane. But when Trump got in, it goes to Biden in 2020. Why? Because there are so many McCain supporters here, McCain voters, McCain lovers, and they backed away from Trump because Trump had made really rude remarks about John McCain during his presidency, or maybe it was a bit before his presidency. So a lot of them stayed home, but Chris Sununu did not make those remarks, and he's going to turn out Republicans. So I do think that it would become likely. Plus, it's a rural state. What's another rural state? Nevada. I think that this would go lean Sununu. Alright, so Sununu has already won, and we still have the Rust Belt to go through. The blue wall, and a few others. Now, going to Nebraska. Second, this is a shifting right district. I'll give it lean Sununu. And then, New Mexico and Colorado are pretty tough. But I think, Sununu might have the edge in the state of New Mexico, but probably not Colorado. Colorado, I do think, is too city-like to go to Chris Sununu. I think there's not enough rural votes here. But I mean, New Mexico, Colorado, kind of the same size. And then New Mexico has only half of the votes that Colorado does. So it is much more rural. New Mexico is actually bigger than Colorado. It's the 5th largest state. So this one is pretty tough, but I think Sununu might have the edge here. Yeah, I think he might have the edge here. I think Sununu is narrowly going to pull out a win in the state of New Mexico. It's going to be really, really close, though. Maybe. It's hard to say, but Sununu will just be so popular. And his record as governor is just so good. And, hear me out, but I do think that he would narrowly carry the rural votes in the state of New Mexico and carry the election there. Going over to Virginia. I mean, this one's kind of tough, but because they do vote more Republican on the gubernatorial level. But I mean, Glenn Youngkin did win here by 1.9%, and Chris Sununu is very similar to Glenn Youngkin in many ways. He's a moderate Republican in a likely blue state, and he is acceptable to many people. I mean, many people like this guy, Chris Sununu, and he is someone like Glenn Youngkin who will turn out Democrats. And really, there's so many similarities between Chris Sununu and Glenn Youngkin that I do think that he would be able to carry the state of Virginia by a lean margin. I really do see him doing very well among the parents in the state, and I think it really would be enough. Going to Minnesota, though, I mean, it's very similar to Colorado. I don't think that there's enough rural votes for it to go to Chris Sununu. I mean, you might disagree with me saying that I gave New Mexico to him, but not Minnesota, which is kind of crazy. But I think that it will go to Biden. I don't think that there are enough rural votes. But, I mean, states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, I definitely think that there's enough rural votes here, especially in Wisconsin and Michigan, and then Pennsylvania, that it's a very purple state, and with Biden unpopular, I really think that Sununu will be able to pull out a win in these 3 states. So this is my final map. Chris Sununu wins with 337 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 201. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I hope you watch all my other videos, and I will see you all next time.